This is the third episode, Trace episode. Oh man, I definitely failed Spanish in high school. Third episode of Horny Gnome Booze Cruise. We're out here. We've changed locations in the Horny Gnome bar. We have wall-to-wall shenanigans out here, and we've changed locations all over the place. I have this backdrop this time. I hung some lights up behind me and moved some gnomes over and stuff, and just tried to do something different. I don't know if we're going to stay here. I mean, it's all over the place. So that's what it is. It's going to be a great time. But it is what it is. So this is my Christmas episode. I went out and I found 4 super awesome beers for us to try and go through, and we can talk about the holidays and everything else going on. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. The first one is going to be, what do I want to choose? I think we're going to go with a Christmas one to start. So this first one we're going to do is Tiny Tim's Crippling Christmas Ale. I didn't make the name, folks. Don't come at me about it. So this is from Thunderhead Brewing Company. Thunderhead is out of Kearney, Nebraska. And they have like another tap room restaurant. And they paired up with a company called Chicken Coop that has a location in Kearney and in Grand Island, Nebraska. So we're going to pour this out. This is actually really, really light for a Christmas ale. I'm really surprised. Usually anything that's like a winter ale is a lot darker than this. I don't have an IBU on this. Oh, I do. So this is an 11.5%, 12 IBU. We are coming out swinging with this beer. So I've never heard anything about this. I just picked it up today. So let's get at it. Oh, wow. So right on the nose, I get like gingerbread and cinnamon right away, which I'm really expecting a darker beer. I'm really surprised by this color. Yeah. Wow. Okay, here we go. First taste. Okay. So the smell kind of leads into what I felt. There's some gingerbread in there. There's some like nutty kind of richness to it. And then there's definitely like a cinnamon kind of backbone that pairs itself really nice with the like Pilsner like structure that kind of starts this whole thing out. So you kind of get like a cinnamon bread paired up with that ginger in there. It's actually really, really good. I'm pleasantly surprised, actually. Not that Thunderhead puts out anything bad, but Thunderhead's 2 biggest, most popular things are more of like a juice style beer, not this. And so I'm really pleasantly surprised. I really dig this. But yeah, no, this is as far as a rating, I'd probably go 7.5. Right in there. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I enjoy that so far. So just so everybody knows, I'm live on Facebook right now. I'm live on Twitch right now, and TikTok of all places. So I kind of had a lot going on. I switched structures of how I'm doing the show. I switched the software that I use to record it. So I kind of switched everything up. And so we're just going to kind of wing it and see how it goes. So as I'm recording this, in case you're listening later, this is the 21st of December of 2021. And it's kind of crazy out there right now. A third of the NFL seems like they're coming down with COVID right now. So every team is being hit by all these COVID structuring things where they keep players out for until they pass all their COVID tests and COVID restrictions. And so that's kind of been a crazy deal, especially for fantasy football players and stuff like that. You really have to move your team around a lot to try to get the best out of it. Beyond that, in the Midwest, we're not seeing a big spike in it, I guess. I mean, to an extent, but nothing to where like we're batting down the hatches or anything like that. They're shutting stuff down, or mask mandates or anything. That's enough about that like political side of things. Other than that, it is another cold winter in the Midwest. However, it's been kind of pleasant for this time of year. The other day it was 50 something degrees. We've gotten one time where we've gotten snow, and I live in Nebraska, so it's kind of been we have had some crazy weather. We had some heavy winds the other day. There was one of my towns that I cover for work had a building completely blown down. It raised the roof up on the building, blew the back wall out, and like everything came down. It was a huge mechanic shop. It was super gnarly. But that's kind of been what we've been dealing with. A lot of poles down and that kind of thing. And so we've kind of been helping the electrical companies out as much as we can. Other than that, my Chiefs are still on a win streak. Let's just keep it going. We're going into the Steelers, but it sounds like Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill are both going to be out for they're both going to be out for COVID protocol this next game. I don't think we need it against the Steelers. The Steelers been playing like crap. So I'm pretty excited that we're just going to rock and roll right past them too and keep this win streak going. As of right now, we're the number one seed and we are favored to be in the Super Bowl. I think that's kind of crazy. We had a real rough start to this year. And so I think that's pretty wild. And don't get me wrong, I'm super grateful for it. I've been nothing but happy about how they've been playing lately. Their defense has stepped up and everything like that. So it's been pretty crazy. On a more personal note, I'm pretty excited. We have my parents coming over for the holiday for Christmas and having Christmas dinner here. And we'll have our daughters here, except for one of them. And we'll have the grandbaby here and stuff like that. If you guys are just tuning in and stuff like that, yes, I look really young to have a grandchild, but our oldest daughter just had a baby about 2 weeks ago. So I'm pretty stoked about that and happy that all of that's going down. And the baby's super healthy, and the mom's been doing a super awesome job watching her and taking care of her and everything. So that's all been really cool. I will get into the holiday stuff a little bit more probably after this beer. So here we go. Man, that's such a great beer. I've said this once and I'll say it a million times. It is super hard to have this podcast keep going, especially since I film it live, and drink at the same time. Cause like, I want to keep the conversation going, obviously. But here we go. Here's the can art for you guys. It's pretty basic. You got a little Tiny Tim crutch there with some holly on either side of it. And just says Tiny Tim's Christmas Ale. But I did look it up, and even on Untappd, it says Tiny Tim's Crippling Christmas Ale. I'm going to guess that's a nod to it being 11.5%. So I think it's really great. I would definitely drink this again. I bought a 6-pack of it or 4-pack of it maybe. And so I'll definitely keep drinking it. Pretty excited for that. Other than that, what's kind of new? We made some big decisions going forward in this podcast and my other podcast, which is Unlikely Role Models. It'll be on this Thursday. Okay. And it's going pretty good. I'm pretty excited about that, and everything's going good for that. So I'm kind of got sidetracked there for a second. Oh, Sanka, what's going on? How are you, buddy? If you guys have any questions for me or anything like that, or you guys want to like chime in and say what's up, you can definitely hop in the comments and say what's up. I appreciate all that. Like I said, struggling and tossing a lot of balls in the air, trying to make everything work correctly right now. So we'll just keep the ball rolling with that. I'm going to finish this off real quick, and then we'll go into the next one. I love this glass, by the way. So it looks like a beer can for people that can't see it right now. But it's no seeds, no stems, triple IPA from Knee Deep Brewing out of Auburn, California. I love this glass. It's one of my favorite glasses. I'm a big glassware guy. I don't know why that's kind of it's one of those things where like dudes usually don't get super excited about dishes, but beer glassware is definitely right there in my realm. So let's see what we got. I'm gonna start the next one, and then we'll keep talking. I think I'm gonna go with this Boys in the Yard. So this Boys in the Yard is a milkshake IPA from Highway 14 Brewing. It is a 6.4% ABV milkshake IPA, and my buddy Greg, that is the owner and head brewmaster over at Highway 14, hooked this all up, and so I'm grateful for him for letting me know when the new stuff drops, and I can go in there and visit him and talk beer a little bit and check out some of the new stuff and some of his new ideas and everything. It makes me feel like I'm kind of part of the process sometimes, which is pretty cool. So this is Boys in the Yard milkshake IPA, 6.4%. It smells like a pretty traditional, like hazy IPA. You do get a little bit of that smoothness, like a little bit of like that lactose. All right, here we go. Man. So, the beautiful thing about milkshake IPAs is it seems like when they introduce that when they introduce that lactose, they also introduce a little bit more sugar too, so it cranks that ABV up a little bit. This Boys in the Yard is a 6.4% ABV, so that sweetness amps that up a little bit too, because your alcohol content comes from your sugar content. Not exclusively, but a big part of it is. And then it makes it smoother. So you get a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more smooth, silky kind of a mouthfeel to it. This is outstanding. This is really, really, it just smells really good. So it doesn't have that piney bite like a West Coast style IPA. This is a lot smoother, kind of closer to what you would see in a hazy IPA, but not exclusively a hazy IPA. You don't get a ton of citrus. You get a little bit, but it's not overpowering. But then you have that lactose too. So it kind of plays this nice little thing where without the orange taste, it kind of has that orange Julius kind of vibe to it. If you know what I'm talking about. Am I going to be doing a wine tasting review? Absolutely not. I don't like wine at all. I'll drink bourbon until the bottle is empty. I do not do wine. Wine is not. I don't do it. I might for a show. I might try it. If you wanna if you want to be a guest, Harry, and you want to come on here and we could do wine tasting together on a show, that's completely up to you. I think we could talk about that if you want to, and I could try. But if I try wine, you got to try beer. So I think we could set that up. We'll set it up to where if we're going to do a show, I'll do wine. I'll try wine, and then you can try some of my beer. I think that'd be a good idea. Well, message me and we'll get to that. That's a great idea. All right, let's go back into this a little bit. So all I want to do is drink beer on this. This is really like kind of like the whole point of this is that I just want to drink beer on this podcast. The only problem is I still have to talk and try to drink beer at the same time. It doesn't always work that way. And I love to talk. Okay, so we have shared the last 2 holidays with my parents. So this one coming up, this Christmas dinner holiday and Thanksgiving holiday, we've shared with my parents. They've come over just because we don't want to be taking the newborn out and about as much and, into the cold as little as possible. This is flu season and everything else. Not to mention everything else going on in the world as far as the pandemic is concerned. But so it's a ton easier. We have a bigger place, especially too, and so it's just easier to have my parents come here. That being said, we are just as sick of the traditional Thanksgiving dinner as they are. And then you always repeat it at Christmas, whether you want to or not. You always seem to do a turkey and a ham at Christmas. It always tends to be the same thing. You do end up doing the same sides. It's always mashed potatoes and gravy and green bean casserole and yams or sweet potatoes for the people that do yams and sweet potatoes. And then you always have like a dip tray and you always have like a fruit tray sometimes and whatever. But it always tends to be the same thing. Well, especially when you have like a smaller family, you also tend to like reuse that stuff, right? So if you don't finish off that turkey, like we had a 23-pound turkey for Thanksgiving that I talked about in the last episode, I think. And we had half a turkey left. So I ended up making like turkey noodle soup out of it, just to use up a bunch of it. So the thought of bringing back another bird and another ham and whatever, don't get me wrong, my ham went like that. Like the ham that I made that I talked about in the other episode that I like bourbon glazed and everything like that, that ham was gone. But the turkey stuck around and filled up a couple gallon trash bags once I broke it all down and everything like that. So the thought of doing that again, we weren't super keen on. And yeah, and pickle wraps. You always have to have pickle wraps. I agree. I love pickle wraps. So the thought of like doing all of that again in that same meal didn't necessarily sit good with me, and it didn't necessarily sit good with my parents when we were talking about it and whatever. Like we have 2 more turkeys on our deep freeze right now. I think we have another ham in our deep freeze right now. They have a couple of hams as well, and a turkey, I think, as well too. And I told him I didn't want to do it. Like I told him, like I was like, either we're doing the traditional Thanksgiving dinner or we're going to do something else. But we need to figure this out. We need to kind of, and so we kind of compromised. There's a chance that I still might do the bird or whatever, or do a bird. I want to definitely do a ham. Ham seems to go really good. All the stuff on the dip tray usually goes meats, cheeses, and olives and pickles and stuff like that, and the pickle wraps, all that stuff usually goes. So we're still going to make that. We're still going to make the mashed potatoes and gravy. We're still going to make the, I think we're going to still make the mashed potatoes and gravy. Anyhow, we're going to make that the green bean casserole because that always goes great. Woosatail, what's going on? Thanks for hopping in here. And so that all goes really good. So then I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to do soups instead. So we're going to do chili and potato soup. And I think if I cook the bird, if I cook a turkey, I'm going to use the smallest one that we have. I'm going to break it down and I'm going to make something like a turkey enchilada soup or something like that with it. Try to do something really off the cuff with it. I think I'm going to try to do the same kind of bourbon glaze that I did with the last ham again this time, just because that ham turned out so good. So then you can kind of really pick and choose what you want and still get, a nice hearty meal without cooking a turkey and a ham and all that crap. So, Yeah. So those of you who are just joining us live and stuff like that, if you can't see us on Twitch or Facebook, I think Facebook might have conked out. But if you can't see us on Twitch right now, I am drinking Boys in the Yard Milkshake IPA from Highway 14 Brewing that is just up the road in Albion, Nebraska. This is super smooth, super sweet, but not overly sweet. And this is a great little IPA, 6.4%. This is outstanding. Woosted Sail is working on a winter ale from Ninkasi Brewing. I don't know that I've heard of that before. Sanka's over here working on a Busch Light because that's all he ever works on is Busch Light, and he works out on the dartboard. So what else was I going to talk about? See, this is stuff that gets cut out usually in the podcast version. This beer is really great. Let's go and finish off this beer. Oh, okay. I remember what we were going to go into. I put out a question earlier today on some social medias about weird Christmas traditions and stuff like that people have. So we as a family don't necessarily have a weird Christmas tradition. We used to just exchange names and stuff like that, exchange names, and then go from there. Oh, cool. Okay, so Woostail says Ninkasi, I think that's how you say it. Ninkasi is a Sumerian goddess of fermentation. Oh, okay. I believe you. I'm not going to fact check you. That being said, I lost my train of thought now. It has stalled out at the station. I was talking about this live stuff kind of kills me sometimes. I was talking about anybody want to help me out here? What the hell was I talking about? I was talking about anybody. Nope. Okay. Well, shit. Anyhow, this time of year is crazy for us. This is basketball season for two of my daughters. This is dance season for two of my daughters as well. And with the new baby and everything like that, it's kind of been chaotic. It's been like unruling chaotic lately. But we've kind of kept a cool head about everything and kind of just taken things as it's come. And I think that's the biggest thing that you need to do, especially during this holiday. There is so much going on. There is pressure from sales from everywhere. There is pressure from everything like that. The two biggest things that I learned a couple of years ago that I continue to do to this day is I don't get overextended during the holidays. There's so many people that are willing to go deep in debt and everything like that to like buy stuff that your kids are going to play with for a week and they'll never touch again and whatever. And I luck out. At this point, the girls are older. Like my youngest daughter is 12 years old or 11 years old. And so at this point, I'm kind of over the toy phase. There's no dolls anymore. There's no dream houses. There's no Barbie cars. There's no any of that crap. The only thing that kind of comes into play now is like fidget stuff, like those pops and stuff like that, which don't get me, I have no idea what the hell, what the hell. There is people making a fortune off of like essentially one-sided bubble wrap, right? Like there's those like the things they look like different shapes and whatever, and you just pop them down, and all the kids have them. People are making fortunes out of like silicone ice cube trays, is what they cut. What they come down to is like little. It blows my mind, but the kids love them. Kids love them, and you know every time you go to anything, like this last summer we went to State Fair because the State Fair is like 40 minutes from us, the Nebraska State Fair. Um, and so we went last year. We were going through all the vendors, and there was these these pop things that were like probably 2 foot by 3 foot tall, like T-Rexes and mermaids and whatever. That had a couple hundred pop dot things on them. But that's what it is, and you paid, I don't know, $50 or $60 for this thing. I'm never paying that kind of money for the equivalent of bubble wrap. I will go and buy bubble wrap. I understand you can only enjoy bubble wrap one time, and this is like I don't care. I'm not buying it. I'll buy the little ones if that's what she wants. I buy those little ones that they're like less 9 out of 10 times less than $10, and then I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You know what fidgets were when we fidgeted back in the day? We just threw pencils into the ceiling of the classroom and stuff like that, and like chewed on pins, and I think it's ridiculous. I have no idea what in the world kids are doing these days. It blows me away. That all being said, that's probably not on my daughter's Christmas, or it's probably on my daughter's Christmas list. Probably not buying it. She's got a couple of them already. I think it's dumb to buy any more of them. So, you guys are, Usatail. Yeah, they're like Snapple Cap. Yeah, Snapple Caps is a great example. I think they're dumb. I don't get it. I mean, maybe there's something lost in translation that I don't understand, and why they're so cool and why all the kids want them or whatever. And maybe that's because I'm old at this point at 35 and have 4 kids and a granddaughter. But it is what it is. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't know what it is. I don't care. It's not something I want, so I don't understand it at all. So we're gonna finish off this Boys in the Yard right now, and then go on to the next one. This all being said, I do want to say that I started out with an 11.5 and went to a 6.4, and I still have 2 more beers. I still have 2 more beers that are slotted for this podcast. This is going to be a great time, guys. So I'm saving the best named one for last. Because number one, I'm a sucker for can art, and I'm a sucker for a good name. So I'm definitely leaving the good one. Ever try Stone Hop Revolver? No, actually, I haven't. Is that from like Stone Brewing, and the name is Hop Revolver, or I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure if I've seen that one. Okay. The next beer that we are going to dig into is going to be Black Diamond. So, Black Diamond, Specialized. What's going on? Welcome to the stream. Specialized, or no, God damn it. Black Diamond from Highway 14 Brewing. This is a 10.6% ABV chocolate stout from my boys over at Highway 14. Greg is the master brewer and owner. And this just dropped last Stone Brew Hop Revolver. I have not had Hop Revolver yet. I'll have to look for that. Highway 14 is in Albion, Nebraska, about 20 miles north of me. So there's the pour. I look like I'm pouring coffee out right now. That was kind of a heavy pour. Not much in. About a half a finger tall white head. So they don't do can art on all of their beers. So some of their beers are just this like generic label. In case you can't see that there. So it's just kind of a generic label with what the name is. They do can art. They do also do can art for a few of their beers, like their more popular beers. They have Dirty Herbie, which is a strawberry wheat. They do can art for that. Pterodactyl, which is a topic of another podcast. They did Pterodactyl. That has can art. Peach Please has can art, I think. Maybe that's it. I think those three have can art. Specialized over here drinking a Kona Longboard. Longboard is great. Have you had Pipeline? Kona Pipeline is a tremendous coffee stout that Kona puts out. It is amazing. If you haven't tried that yet, you need to go out and find that. That's actually it. I just finished off a 6-pack of it, and I went out and I bought another 6-pack right away. It was that good. So, Pipeline. Yep. Pipeline by Kona Brewing is a fantastic coffee ale. Not too heavy on the coffee. Or it's a coffee stout. It's not too heavy on the coffee. It's nice and smooth. It's not a super high ABV. It's really, really good. So this dressed in black gentleman right here is Black Diamond. So this is, at this point, Highway 14's highest ABV that they've ever produced in a beer at 10.6. Highway 14 Brewing is out of Albion, Nebraska. The head brewmaster is Greg Luddle. I think it's Luddle. It's kind of a small little microbrewery. They produce 4 beers a week in their, I want to say something like, I'm not going to tell you the barrels. I don't remember what the percentage or what the actual number is, but they produce 4 beers a week. However, they have X amount on tap. They usually have, something like 15 on tap, but they only produce 4 a week. So they're going to produce a couple of like the popular favorites every week, and then they produce like 1 or 2 new favorites. This one just crashed and dropped last week. The one that'll come down the pipeline next is a sour, which I'm really excited for. So let's get into this one. Coffee a little bit. You get some chocolate notes. Kind of your traditional stout. You get a little bit of bread in there. Nothing too hoppy by any means. All right, here we go. There's something about a good stout that just kind of tastes luxurious. And I don't know how else to describe that other than that. It floats down your mouth. It's silky, it's smooth. It has this really subtle kind of like smooth, sweeping kind of mouthfeel to it. A good heavy stout, a good stout is just, it really tastes like a rich chocolate or rich, whatever flavor they're trying to usher in. It's usually really rich. So at 10.6%, it is a little sweeter, but not like mouth pucker sweeter. It is not candy sweeter. At this point, this chocolate stout at 10.6% is teetering somewhere in that dark chocolate to milk chocolate kind of kind of realm, right? Woosten Tail says they're almost chewy. I will second that for sure. It is a heavier mouthful. But not in a bad way. It just feels like there's a lot more substance there. It feels like there's a lot more flavor. It's a little bit thicker. Not necessarily syrupy, but like like just a little bit. The difference between a coffee and then when you add in your creamer and your sugar and whatever, it's just that little bit heavier. Um, yeah, absolutely. So, this is fantastic. So they went real bare bones. They went coffee, stout, let's go and make it imperial. And they made this fantastic, bright, chocolate stout. Highway 14 knocked it out of the park. Greg over at Highway 14. This is a great stout. I had it off tap. It tastes just as good off tap as it does in the can. So the hard thing about Highway 14 is that Highway 14 uh, cans very little. They can enough for you to come in and buy cans to go, and that's kind of where it stops. They don't can and have like a canning line and all that yet. So, have I had any smoked porters yet? I think I have had an Imperial Smoke Porter once. But it was like a one-off kind of thing. It wasn't anything mass produced. But yeah, I have had one once. Uh, what's going on, everybody? If you're new to the stream, I'm just letting you know we're in the middle of the Horny Gnome Booze Cruise podcast. I've done a couple of beer reviews. I've got one more after this one that I'm currently working on right now. If you guys like this kind of content, if you like beer content and beer review content, please drop a follow and a like and everything. All of my episodes get recorded and go to YouTube as well. So if you want to go and look on YouTube, it is Horny Gnome Booze Cruise over on podcast. Horny Gnome Booze Cruise podcast over on YouTube. It seems like I'm way more drunk than I am, but I think I have hiccups. I'm like trying to fight to keep them down right now. So I really, really enjoy this beer. This is smooth. I really feel like a good heavy stout should be not quite motor oil thick, but it should be getting there. You know what I mean? Like it should have some like feelings of trying to push its way there. Man, that's nice and heavy though. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to move that over. Now I know exactly where I was at way before. Beer makes you awesome. Absolutely. Thank you for hopping in there with that. Christmas traditions. I don't have anything necessarily that's like super crazy in my family that's like a weird Christmas tradition. However, I've dated a lot of girls back in the day and other things that have had weird Christmas traditions. If you've ever dated or been part of a Hispanic family, they don't celebrate Christmas on Christmas, really. They celebrate the majority of their they celebrate the majority of their holiday on Christmas Eve. So you'll see on Christmas Eve, a lot of them go to bed really early on Christmas Eve. And then later on, about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, then you start getting the kids up and stuff like that. And then they celebrate their Christmas at midnight on Christmas Eve going into Christmas. So like right at that midnight hour. So there's partying, there's food, there's presents, there's everything at like midnight, Christmas Eve going into Christmas. I've been lucky enough to be a part of a couple of these. Number one, I don't care what anybody says. There is not a single other group of people that party harder than Hispanic people during holidays. And I don't mean that in any way, shape, or form, anything bad. I don't need to be canceled over it. I don't need to be people talking shit. But every single party that I've been part of that was Hispanic in ethnicity, especially during the holidays, they go hard and they don't stop. And they go bottles and bottles deep, and they have a great time. And there's a lot that I really respect, especially about that culture, about the way that they respect their elders and stuff like that. That's lost, especially on like modern culture. I feel like they respect their elders and their kids and everything in a whole different way than I feel like a lot of times we do in the modern world. It's pretty crazy, but it is what it is. So I feel like that's a kind of a weird tradition to celebrate everything on Christmas Eve. In my family, like our only thing is like we used to give one present. Like back when I was growing up, we used to get one present on Christmas Eve. You know, like you'd get it, say, an hour before bedtime, and you get to like play around with it or mess around with it, whatever it is, and and then go to bed. You know, so Santa or whatever. You know, we got once you got older, you knew, but that way you weren't in the way while they were out doing their thing. Um, so I guess, I mean, that's like our Christmas tradition, and I still kind of carry that out through my kids. Like I usually give them one present on Christmas Eve, and then go go forth and go to bed so we can finish off the rest of it, and then we just kind of wake up and kind of open up presents. Some other ones that I've heard of is all the presents underneath the tree are like white elephant stuff. Like they just all are open for everybody. That was one that I heard today that I thought was kind of odd. So like you buy special presents for special people or whatever, but that part of it isn't under the tree. That's like separate. And then the stuff under the tree is all like regular white elephant gifts that could go to anybody. And then you like whatever. So like your son could get a like set of grilling cooking utensils or whatever, and then there is some trade and buy kind of situation that I wasn't fully understanding or whatever, and I thought that was kind of bananas. Like there to be just like extra stuff that you go and like white elephant gift. I thought that was kind of weird. There was I heard of a group of people or a family, I should say, obviously, that go and like hide and seek their gifts. Like they go and hide it throughout like the neighborhood, and like you have to go and find your presents in like people's yards and BS. I thought that was batshit bananas. But I can also see like the fun in it. It is what it is. Oh, there we go. CPS Dave hopping in here with scratch offs. That's a great idea. Scratch offs is a great idea. I would be down for a little suspense with some scratch offs. I don't know that family member that won like a decent amount of money would like make it out of the room if I bought them scratch offs. Like, I don't know. You didn't buy that, bro. Like, oh man. See, somebody says I got a Mr. Beer brewing kit as an elephant. Yeah, that's pretty cool though. So Mr. Beer does a pretty good job as like as far as like home brewing is concerned or whatever. That wouldn't be bad. Everybody keeps asking me like, when are you gonna like make your own beer? I don't have any desire to make my own beer at all. Number one, my least favorite chore in the house is doing dishes. You're telling me that I have to like try to like do more dishes? Get the fuck out of here. There's no way. I'm not going to do any more dishes than I normally already don't do. So, home brewing is a lot of sanitation, a lot of dishes, a lot of. You know what? I'll drink whatever you want to home brew at home. I'm not making anything myself. So, that's kind of Sari, I did get your holiday card. Thank you very much. I was going to send you a personalized thank you, actually. But that's what's going on. Hey, Dave, thanks for the likes. There you go. Yeah. See, Dave said he always opened gifts on Christmas Eve, and then they did the dishes. They ate and then did the dishes. Like I said, that's not what we did on my family. Let's see. I don't have interest either. I understand nothing. Yeah, absolutely. I if you want a homebrew beer, hats off to you. I feel like it's a difficult task. I think it gets expensive, especially if you want to produce anything like really one-off and like unique. Hops get really expensive, and things like that. If you want to do that, that's great. I'm just not one that wants to. I don't care. My hopes and dreams is that all of this shit that I do between podcasts and TikTok and everything, and promoting all these breweries, that one of them will eventually say, "Hey, let's collaborate and do a beer together." And I'll go in and I'll tell them what I think would be really cool as a beer, and then they just like fucking make it for me. That's what I want to do. I don't want any part. I don't want to wash nothing out. I don't want to scrub nothing. I don't want to sanitize nothing. I just I just fucking don't. Rager over here on Twitch. I'm talking right now. We're talking about beer in general, and home brewing and how I don't want to be a home brewer. I'm gonna finish off this. This is Black Diamond. This is a chocolate porter, 10.6% ABV. This is the third one of the podcast. The first one was Tiny Tim's Crippling Christmas Ale, which was an 11.5 ABV, 12 IBU winter ale. And then I did Boys in the Yard, which was a 6.4% ABV milkshake IPA. And then this one right here. Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to crawl in the tanks and whatever. No, absolutely not. Do I want to work for a brewery? I could probably work for a brewery. But even then, do I really want? Nah, I don't get me wrong. So here's a little hint. Here's a little hint. Nobody knows the brewer. You know the bartender and the owner. That's all you know at a brewery. 9 out of 10 times, you know the owner or head brewmaster who never does any brewing anymore, and you know the bartender. So be one of those two people. If you want to if you want to expand your horizons, if you want to meet new people, if you want to whatever, if you want to get out of work, be the head brewmaster or be the bartender. Other than that, it's all garbage shit work that nobody wants to do. That's advice from your old pal Horny Gnome right here. I'm telling you right now. That was sweet. Okay. So, we're going into the home stretch. We got one more beer to go. Let's get into it. So, I saved the best for last. And by that, I mean, I am a sucker for can art, and I am a sucker for good names. Especially if they're like pop culture, like haha kind of stuff. Cross Strain knocked it out of the park the park this time. Here it goes. This is Cross Strain's Little Full a lot of sap IPA. So that is a nice little plug on Christmas vacation when he talks about the Christmas tree that they bring home from like the forest with no saw, by the way, on their Ford station wagon. And I'm really, really excited to try this. So Cross Drain also is the home of my worst favorite beer ever. My worst beer ever. The worst beer I've ever had the privilege of reviewing. One that was undrinkable. I couldn't even finish the very, very last drop of it. I couldn't finish. I think I threw it out with like a third of the thing left. Was Mele Kalikimaka. They had great can art. Same thing. They had a swimming pool with a red bikini. Great name. Another Christmas vacation reference. Garbage beer. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. I tried. There was too much ginger and whatever. It was overpowering. So they scratched it for this year, and they brought out this little full lot of sap IPA, and I'm all about trying this bad boy out. Sucker for bourbon barrel-aged stouts. I really like bourbon barrel-aged stouts as well. See, it came with a West Coast Pale Ale, 12 beers. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Nick, I'm not sure what you're talking about. That's pretty cool, though. All right, here we go. So there's a lot of head on this. I poured it pretty heavy. I just wanted to open it up. I've got a little bit of a congestion. So I've only got one nostril working on the old sniffer. So I'm getting citrus, but not overpowering citrus. I'm getting pine. I'm getting foam up my nose. You're welcome. This is what I do for you guys. Okay, here we go. So this is Little Full Little Sap. It's a 6.5, 65 IBU Indian Pale Ale. This is Chinook, Simcoe, Sentinel, Centennial, and Cascade hops. I am nothing but excited about this beer right now. Oh, it's so worth it. So this is a nice, husky, West Coast style IPA. And I know that not everybody loves West Coast style IPAs, but I'm a fucking sucker for them. I love that piney resonance and stuff like that, especially if you usher it in on this nice, gorgeous platter. You come in with great can art, you come in with a great name, and then you deliver this superb West Coast style IPA. I'm writing them tomorrow. I really will. Great smell, even out of one nostril. This is a great tasting West Coast style IPA. Man, what a great way to end the show. Great IPA. You need to go out and find it. Here's the can art. There's close up for TikTok. There's the close up. As much as I'm going to close up for Twitch. This is a great IPA. Cross Train Brewing is out of La Vista, Nebraska. I'm going to get lit up if I don't. It is La Vista, Nebraska. They share a wall with Pint 9 Brewing, which is another great brewery out of La Vista, Nebraska. Cross Train holds the title for the #1 hazy IPA in all of Nebraska in their Fairy Nectar IPA. which is a fantastic IPA. If you guys ever get a chance to find it, it's fantastic. I've done a couple of reviews over it over on TikTok, and it's pretty fantastic. So I know I've kind of been all over the place tonight, and I really do apologize for that. I'm trying a new software out on my computer. I've got an extra camera, and then I'm trying to like really do multiple things at the same time. And for whatever reason, I get the hiccups, which is cool. This is a podcast that I do every other Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time live. It's live on Facebook. It'll be live on Twitter next week or next 2 weeks. Every other week I do it. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and another one that I'm forgetting right now. TikTok. There we go. TikTok. This has been the Horny Gnome Bar. This has been episode 3. I love and appreciate all of you. And if you are on TikTok, I will do an after show. I'm just showing my TikTok guys a little extra love. So if you can go over and follow me on TikTok, it is Horny Gnome Bar, HZRNEE Gnome Bar, all one word, over on TikTok. Go over and give me a follow. Show me some love. Those are the first ones that kind of like supported me and backed me and got me to the followership that I have over there. And so I just give them a little extra for right now. I really appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. I've been the Horny Gnome. This has been the Horny Gnome Bar. And this has been the Horny Gnome Booze Cruise podcast. Episode 3 in the books. I love you. Peace.